Jimmy.
Now, what's worth doing is worth doing for money.
Straight from y'all street to Wall Street.
Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't make up.
Dudes wake up, hope their girl turned on so they can get a little bit. Only woman in the morning, I wanna turn on this Becky quick. While the average man looking at it's sad like she fine as yeah. I'm over here looking at tails and whips like yeah, buy or sell. I left the mayhem for the market. Now I don't want a dope spot, I want to stop it. I know that booty got dry, triggered my stop losses, but I ain't got time for your wop. My V-wops crossing. Rich with hot V's and pushing hot key strategy and plans to make grand. Still in my wife beater, Batman pajamas, house slides, and about 5 hot picks for the day. Cause I like the way the Dow bounce. 4 hot dips on call, so I got options. 2 with a lot of volume, 1 with a double bottle. Now I know dumb money don't understand. Am I talking about my trade or just thinking with my MACD? You see, we different in the way we move. You move with kittens and your dog, I move with bears and bulls. I got a green thought, grow with the marijuana. Waking up with the fun, some commas. Jump out of bed, big profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, big profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and stop. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETL, make profits. I jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, make profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. Yeah. See, me and Jim Cramer been talking mad money. Said today I'm taking a risk. They got the feds coming, but I got support here with me. I call a short squeeze. You get the drop, she pull the trigger, and abort these. If she stay on my watch list, I might have to wife her. But I know better. I'm a true trading group lifer. Call up the Wolf of Weed Street. It's time to flip some profits. Go ahead, be hawking. Get your spot here. I'll double top that in the head and shoulders. Hit him up with this resistance. Watch him roll over. Cause I see John Wicks in contract. If I say I make $1 million a day, well, that's a large cap. You moving average, that's why you get crossed. Get split, get delisted, and knocked off. And I'm setting the whole block off. I'm buying GameStop and selling them roadblocks off. Jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, make profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and stop. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETL. Hey, my family. Profits. Hey, go, what we doing, my man? Make profits. Hey, Shug, Mike, what we doing, dog? Make profits. Yo, Wolf, Professor, what we doing? Make profits.
That TTG money gang, we some snipers.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on, folks? Welcome to the True Trading Group live stream. We've got earnings, and we are flying. Microsoft, Meta, massive moves to the upside. Originally here, Microsoft trading up 6% right now. Meta now trading up 5%. These stocks are literally flying right now. They took the whole market's green. Literally, the markets finished the day red after the Fed meeting. We are now right back to the high of the day. Thanks to Microsoft, thanks to Meta, and their earnings. These are huge moves to the upside. Let's dive in. Let's get right to it. Let's not waste a second because I didn't even get to go through these earnings yet. I just see this, the reaction that these stocks are having as Microsoft makes a new all-time high and as Meta is trading up, testing its all-time high. These are huge moves to the upside. Let's talk about them right now, guys, and I'll give you all of the numbers right now. Microsoft is a top and bottom line B. $3.65 earnings per share against $3.37 estimates. Sales come in at $76.4 billion. Analysts were only expecting $73.8 billion. Let's go through. That's a quick headline there. Meta is a massive beat. $7.14 a share. Analysts were only expecting $5.79. Sales come in at $47.5 billion. Analysts were only expecting $44.5 billion. They see, look at this raise. Look at this guidance for Meta. Meta's Q3 sales. Analysts expecting $45.8 billion. Meta says 47.5 to $50.5 billion for Q3 sales. And that's got these stocks catapulting new all-time highs straight across the board here for Meta and Microsoft. Wow. I got to be honest with you guys. I came into this earnings and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, the bar is set kind of high. You know, you take a look at Netflix. Netflix reported earnings and the earnings were actually really good, but Netflix still traded down 5%. Even though Netflix beat top and bottom line, Netflix raised guidance for the quarter. They raised guidance for the full year, and Netflix still went down 5% when they reported earnings. And I said to myself when I saw that, I was like, you know, the bar is set pretty high for these mega caps already. And Netflix just beat, and Netflix traded down, very crowded long on the Netflix trade. Netflix has been a crowded long because everybody flocked to Netflix to still get that growth factor, even though you had the tariffs, because Netflix has a business model that's not impacted necessarily by the tariffs. And if you were worried about the economy slowing down, you have a little bit of a defensive play there with Netflix, because even if the economy slows, no one's canceling their Netflix subscription. So it was seen as kind of a place to go hide out during all the tariff uncertainty. And the stock, you know, moved higher and it became a very crowded trade. But it still traded to the downside 5%. And I thought to myself, I'm like, you know, if these other stocks have pretty good earnings and they beat and they raise, they have the potential of seeing a little bit of a profit take. But these are such good earnings on the strongest companies with the most earnings power in the world that it's taken these stocks to new all-time highs, and it's got the market moving higher as well. So you've got the markets moving higher in the face of all this, and you've got top and bottom line beats all across the board here for Microsoft and Meta. Robinhood is also trading higher. Okay, so let's go over this. Meta sees 2026 year-over-year expense growth rate above 25s. They cite infrastructure costs and employee compensation. So let me see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Operating income, $20.4 billion. Analysts were only expecting $17.24 billion. Total expenses, $114 billion to $118 billion. Analysts saw $113 to $118 billion. So here's the capex spend. Okay, $66 to $72 billion on the capex spend. Analysts were expecting 64 to 72. No, sorry. It was previously 64, 72. Meta now saying 66 to 72. So we did not get that. That's what people were worried about. People were worried about. They saw Alphabet, and Alphabet gave you a pretty high raise on their capex because of all the AI spend, the AI investment. They went from 75 billion in capex to 85 billion, and people thought that Meta might be one that potentially could see another big jump in capex. And they didn't. They kept it real nice and tight. They just tightened up the range. They didn't even move the top end of that range. And that really is why I think Meta is reacting so favorably to this earnings, because there was no big jump in that capex. They blew their earnings out of the water, top and bottom line, earnings per share, revenue, guidance, nothing not to like here on this company. I personally love Meta as a stock, as an investment. It's obviously one of my largest holdings. My largest holdings in my long-term portfolio are the Mag 7s. That's because I've owned them and I've added to them every year for 15 years, however long it's been. But I still think that Meta has more room and a lot more growth ahead of it. I think Meta is going to be one of the dominant forces when it comes to AI. And I think that Meta is going to be a dominant player once the metaverse technology comes back into play. I know that's a thing of the future, but eventually I do believe that we're headed that path over the next decade or so. No one will even come close to be able to compete with Meta once that technology begins to become something that people focus on. And it's just the next generation progression of AI, and you'll get there. And I think that Meta really still does have a runway, and it's still a company that is run by the founder. And I love companies that are run by founders. There's just a different level of there's just a different level of passion there behind it. when you still have the founder at the helm. And, with this breakout now to these new all-time highs, you're now trading at $763. We are still moving higher now for a new all-time high. Look at this move. This is absolutely insane. Stock's now up 9% on the day, up even more than that in the after hours. Microsoft is making a new all-time high, up 7%. Nuts. Right? Just absolutely nuts. And Microsoft, the other thing I thought about with Microsoft too, and I'm shooting you guys straight, man. When I was looking at Microsoft, I was like, Microsoft has gone straight up for 3 months. That leaves a very tough bar to jump over when you come out with earnings when a stock has rallied for 3 straight months. Nope, not a problem for Microsoft. Still moving higher, $550. And you go ahead and you take a look at the overall market, and we're right back to yesterday's highs. I didn't think yesterday, if you asked me yesterday, do we think that we're going to get back to yesterday's high today? I said no. I didn't think that we would get back to yesterday's high today. But I didn't expect a 9% and a 10% move on Meta and Microsoft following the earnings. Wow. What a move. Look at what the markets have done here in the after. This is the SPY. Look at the SPY in the after hour session. Look at the Qs in the after hour session. Just the Qs are above, yesterday's high. The Qs are currently printing a new all-time high on the back of this earnings release. On the back of this earnings release by by Meta and by Microsoft. Insane. Wow, guys. Just absolutely wow. We got other companies, though, that are also reporting earnings. You got Robinhood. Robinhood's up 5%. All right, let's talk about Robinhood real quick. Let me give you those numbers as I'll just start running these things through now. Robinhood, earnings per share is a beat. Wow, this is actually a huge beat for Robinhood. 42 cents a share, analysts expecting 29 cents. And then sales come in at 989 million. Analysts were only expecting 899 million. So almost 100 million of a beat there to the upside on sales for, wow, that's a huge beat. Just when you look at percentage wise, 989 million, analysts were expecting 899 million. It's $90 million as a percentage of the 989 million. It's almost a 10% beat. That's a big beat there for Robinhood, man. You do have the all-time high that's in play there, up around 112, 113 on Robinhood. So, here's the deal. Here's what I have to start thinking about. I mean, these are such powerful moves, and this also negates the head and shoulders. So if you guys remember, we talked about a potential head and shoulders forming on Meta, and you guys can see it here. I drew it on my screen. We decided you had to wait for earnings to see if the pattern triggers. So there's the left shoulder, right? There's the head. There's the right shoulder, and then here's the neckline. And then the 50-day moving average also sat there at neckline. So you just have to wait. You have to wait and see, does earnings crack the neckline and break that, break down that head and shoulders? Well, there's your answer, right? Now, this completely negates any head and shoulders pattern that was here prior, right? You have to just wait for earnings and see what happens, and earnings completely negates that entire pattern. All right, now you just take a look at the previous double top at the low 740s for those all-time highs, and you would then look to see, do those low 740s become support? What I think you probably see happen tomorrow is there's probably a pullback tomorrow off this gap up that takes you back into those 740s, and then into those 740s, you can try to see if that becomes an area of support for you. Okay. Ideally, you want to see Meta stay above that 740 now going forward. Okay. And listen, I saw somebody was asking the question like, hey, man, do you think that this could potentially be like a blow off top? These are such massive moves that I don't think you're going to get like a lot of really big follow through on a Microsoft. The stock is up so much in the last 3 months, and now it's up so much following its earnings release. I think you probably have an opportunity here for Microsoft to consolidate the gap up. I think you have a chance for us to consolidate that gap up. Yeah. I'm not necessarily going to be looking for like breakout longs on these names tomorrow. Way to go, Frank. A 450% gain for Frank on the SPY calls. Don't forget, SPY options trade a few minutes after the close. Individual stocks, they stop trading right at the bell. Really nice job there, Frank, holding on to some call options. We actually had a bunch of our members today trading futures with our futures mods. For the Fed meeting, we closed down because in True Trading Group, we have the main chat room where stocks and options are traded for both day trades and swing trades. We also have a futures trading room where we have moderators that specifically and members that are specifically trading futures. Then we have a scalping room with another one of our moderators for members that are just scalping, real quick in and out trades with same day expiration, some zero DTE options. But we keep those rooms separate so that you can stay focused on what you're trading and it doesn't become overwhelming with all these different type of trade alerts. And you can hang out in multiple rooms if you want, but you can either you can choose to hang out in one room, both rooms, or two rooms, or all three rooms. Choice is yours. But on Fed meetings, we close down those other rooms. We bring everybody into the main chat, and we had a lot of fun today. A beautiful long trade there in the NQs and in the Russell RTY with our futures moderators, Uni and Colin, catching a real nice move there. And some members jumped on top of that as well. Some members jumped on that with some call options there into the close. Geo, he also jumped on some options there into the close as well. So it was a lot of action today inside of True Trading Group, especially those last 2 hours of the day following the Fed meeting. We started off really slow with the Fed meeting. Then Jerome Powell took that podium, and then the questions started to come, and then the volatility picked up. We caught beautiful shorts to the downside through 634.50 on the SPY for options to the downside, and then our futures trader stepped in and then grabbed the longs, into the close, and then our futures traders are also still currently. You saw Dawn right there. See Dawn right there, a comment. Mike, we're still trading futures. So you guys can see a lot of our members and our mods are still trading futures right now into the after hour session on the back of phenomenal earnings on Microsoft and Meta. Microsoft up 7%, Meta up 10%, Amazon's up 2.5%, Nvidia's up 1%. They didn't even have earnings yet. Amazon's got earnings tomorrow along with Apple. Nvidia, you still have a little while before you get Nvidia earnings. But I don't know what stops this market at this point right now. It's like you've had some good news over the last couple of weeks. Clarity with trade deals, clarity with some tariffs, good job numbers, some decent inflation numbers, good earnings so far. Over 80% of the companies that have reported earnings so far, over 80% of them have beat earnings. That's above the average. Over 80% of them have beat. That is a very strong earnings season. So, what you got from Jerome Powell today, quickly being erased and forgotten right now with what you with these earnings. Because Jerome Powell came out and said during the Fed meeting today that made it seem like they're not ready to cut rates in September. The markets were just assuming that we were going to get rate cuts in September. But after Jerome Powell's press conference, the probability of rate cuts for September have actually now dropped under 50%. And the probability of zero rate cuts at all this year has actually moved higher. That's not what's happening, Chromatic. Inflation is absolutely not the reason why you're getting this bump in earnings. You haven't gotten a bump in inflation. Inflation is still low. No, it's not 2%, but you haven't had this big rise in inflation. Inflation is absolutely not the reason that you're getting Meta, Microsoft, Netflix, all these companies are just ripping earnings. It's that the economy is better than people had anticipated that it was going to be. And these companies are really well positioned to deal with everything that's going on. These are the best companies on planet Earth. And that's why a couple of months ago, I got a lot of questions about people asking me about going into Europe and European stocks, and looking at, is the American, superiority as far as from an investment standpoint, is that dead? And I was like, absolutely not. Under no circumstance could anybody tell me that there's better quality investments in Europe than there are in the United States. I just don't believe it. Yeah, sure. Maybe at some points here and there, maybe US stocks get expensive and European stocks could be cheaper, or the emerging market stocks could be cheaper. They could be at better valuations or whatever it is. But when push comes to shove, I want my money in the best companies in the world. And the best companies in the world are right here. And you're looking at them right now on your charts. You're looking at them right now. It's Microsoft, it's Amazon, it's Meta, it's Nvidia. You're looking at the best companies in the world. And that is why, as long as those companies are here, I don't believe that you're going to see any type of long-lasting trend where people flock to other markets for top quality investments for an extended period of time. You might get a situation where maybe, European markets or global markets and emerging markets might outperform the US for a short period of time. But in the long run, there's nothing anyone's going to say to me to convince me to take my money out of the US and put it into a place like Europe, especially not now. Not now with Europe getting 15% tariffs. That's going to be probably half a point hit on GDP for Europe, maybe 0.3% hit on GDP. It's just not, I want my money. I like my money exactly where it is. I love the stocks that we own in our long-term portfolio. Big shout out to the members of True Trading Group. TTD is not just about day trading. It's not just about swing trading. We day trade, we swing trade. We also cover long-term investing. And we were extremely active in April in the long-term portfolio, buying up everything we can get our hands on in April. I am so pleased with what we were able to accomplish. Guys, members, go ahead, give me shout outs. Type the number 1 in chat if you guys bought some stuff with me in April and you guys are damn happy that you did. If your long-term portfolios are doing great because of those April purchases, I want you to sound off in chat right now. Tell me. I want to know. I want to hear about it because it makes me happy. We had a whole conversation today inside a chat. Somebody actually asked me a question about, Mike, if you try to address like social issues, like the wealth gap, right? Somebody was asking a question about that. Will it have a net? Like, how do you think it'll impact? How do you think it impacts the markets? And I'm like, listen, without getting into like policies and everything else, the way that I look at it, the way that I believe, when I run for president in 2040, whatever it is, I'm just kidding. But the way that I look at it, you want to try to bridge the wealth gap. Great. It's not by moving capital gains tax up to 40%. It's not by increasing, an inheritance tax. The way that you do it is to get the 50% of this country that does not own stocks to own stocks. The reason why you've had this huge, massive runaway in the wealth gap is because wealthy people have investments, they own stocks, they own real estate. Those things go up over time. And people that don't own them miss out on any type of wealth appreciation. They just have their income and they're getting eaten away at inflation. And that gap continues to just get wider and wider and wider as wealth gets built in the stock market and as wealth gets built in real estate and other types of investments. The way that I would do it is I would educate people as early as you possibly can. I would make it mandatory. Personal finance, stock market, investing, courses in high school. Make it mandatory across the country for people to learn about the stock market, learn about investing, okay? Learn about Okay, your summer job, you got yourself an extra $500 from doing whatever, from babysitting or from lifeguarding or working at a summer camp, whatever it is. Instead of blowing the $500 on a PS5, take that $500 and put 250 of it into an AMD or a Palantir, and then go spend the other 250. If you can get kids to start thinking about that at an earlier age, get them interested in the stock market and investing at an earlier age, then they're going to be in a drastically different position when they reach adulthood. When that person becomes 35 years old and they're getting married and they're having a family and they're looking to buy a house, they're going to have money for a down payment. They're not going to have to go to mommy and daddy and ask them for help for a down payment, because they're going to have it because they would have invested and would have taken advantage of that wealth increase and of that value increase. They're not going to have problems paying off their student loans, because the money that they invested when they were 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 has now grown exponentially by the time they're 32. If you can educate parents at an earlier age about this, make them aware, then when their kid is born and when their kid turns 1, instead of having their friends and their family members buy them a onesie or a pair of pajamas that they're going to wear twice and then never fit in it ever again, instead of spending $100 on a really nice outfit that kid's going to wear once, instead of buying some other plastic toy from China that they're going to play with for the next 4 months and never touch it ever again, instead of doing that, take $100 and buy that kid a stock. Put $100 into an index fund for that kid when they turn 1 year old. Every single time your kid has a birthday, take $100 away from whatever it is you were going to spend on their birthday party or whatever you're going to spend on a gift, and buy them a stock. And by the time that kid is 18, 25, 30 years old, that's how you bridge the wealth gap. That is how you lift people up from the bottom end of that spectrum, and you lift them high, because now they can take advantage of the wealth that is created in the markets. That's what we try to do here at True Trading Group. We have a youth program at TTG. Lifetime members of True Trading Group, they can sign up their children totally for free for our youth program, ages between 7 and 18. And we can start to get kids interested in this stuff at an earlier age, because schools don't teach it. They don't teach it. But by God, we all know what an isosceles triangle is. We all know what an isosceles triangle is. How many of you use that information? Maybe 2% of you use geometry in your career. But 100% of people, 100% of Americans, regardless of your career or regardless of the field that you are in, 100% of you would use financial literacy and information about the stock market and investing in your life. 100% of us. Why is it not mandatory? Why is it not taught? That's the way. Now, obviously, maybe I'm biased. I do this for a living. I've done it for over 18 years. I'm extremely passionate about what I do. And because I am a living example of where life can go by having this knowledge and having this skill. And I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate enough. For those of you that don't know who I am and my background, I began my trading career working at T3 Alpha Fund in New York City. It's a fund in New York City. They had me go through a training program right out of college before they let me touch $1 of their money. I went to this program there where they taught me how to do everything. Right? I was trained by professionals on Wall Street. I didn't have to watch YouTube videos. I didn't have to sit in Discord chats. Okay. I was very lucky and I was very fortunate. That was how I got my start. Okay. And then 2008 happened, and that was the Great Recession and the big stock market crash. But it's also the same year that I received one of the firm's Trader of the Year awards. And now you fast forward, I'm the co-founder of True Trading Group. And along with 8 other professional traders that are mods at TTG and an over 30-person staff, we've now helped thousands of traders from all over the world to reach their goals. We have over 10,000 members in 114 different countries. We are a global community. We day trade, we swing trade, we cover long-term investing. We trade stocks, options, crypto, futures. We do it all. There's literally something for everybody here at TTG. Okay? There is something for everybody here at True Trading Group. And there's nothing that I want more than to get people interested, knowledgeable, excited about investing and about trading, because if you can develop this skill, If you can develop this skill and you can make better decisions, you are going to set not just yourself, but you're going to set your family up for much better and much easier days to come. And at the end of the day, what else could you really want? True success in life, I think, is defined by your children living a better life than you lived. And in order for your children to live a better life than you lived, we have to make good decisions, right? As parents, we have to make good decisions. As I literally celebrate my daughter's first birthday today. My daughter turned 1 today. And my daughter is set up. You know, as soon as I got my daughter's social security number, I opened up her custodial brokerage account. I bought her a bunch of stocks. I opened up her 529. I funded that. It's on an automatic drip in every single month that gets added to. The markets crashed in April. This was like November when I bought a bunch of stuff for when I got her social security number. And then right away, and then the markets crashed in April and I bought her a bunch of more stuff. And what her portfolio has done just from the day she was born or the day that I opened it in November and then I added to it in April to where it is now today is actually insane. But that's the power of investing. That is the power of investing in the greatest, most powerful, companies in the world. But in order to do that, you have to A, be interested in it, and you have to B, be knowledgeable enough to understand when, how, what, why. That's what we're here for. That's why people join True Trading Group. Not because they want to buy a Lamborghini or they've been eyeing up this brand new Rolex. Yeah, all that stuff is cool. I like nice things too. I'm a watch guy. But that's not why people join True Trading Group. They join True Trading Group so they can better their lives. They can better their lives, their family. They join True Trading Group so they don't have to worry about the cost of groceries. So they don't have to worry about if they lose their job, how they're going to pay rent next month. So that they can retire 2 or 3 years ahead of schedule. What is that worth to you? That's why people join True Trading Group. And then you might wonder, but then why do people stay at True Trading Group? Guys, do me a favor. Can you type in chat how many years you've been a member of TTG? Just do me a favor. Type in chat, how many years have you been a member? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 2 years. How many years have you been a member of TTG? Just comment in chat. Just type a number. How many years? If you're new, it's only been a couple of months. Tell me how many months. But if you guys are members of True Trading Group and you're on this live stream right now, tell me, how long have you been a member? Four years, 5 years. Check out some of these comments, guys. 3.5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years, 4 years, 3 years, 4, coming up on 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, nearly 5 years, 2.5 years, 5 years next month, 5 years, 4 years, almost 5, 4, 4 plus, 4, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 4 years, 5 years. Look at how long these people have been a member of True Trading Group. And not only are they still a member, they still come to these live streams. Now, I just explained to you why people join TTG. Now I'm going to explain to you why they stay. The reason why you're seeing all these people tell you that they've been a member for 3, 4, 5 years is because they're making money. It's because they're having success. They're becoming better traders. And don't just believe me because I say that to be true. Believe them. I'll ask members of True Trading Group, do me a favor. If you are a member and you are making money, you're becoming a better trader, type the number 1 in chat right now. Just go ahead and type the number 1. Type the number 1 in chat. You're making money. You're becoming a better trader. Type the number 1. Anyone that is on this live stream right now that is not a member, I need you to pay close attention to how many people you see type the number 1 inside of chat. These are your friends. These are your family members. These are your coworkers. These are complete strangers. If they can do this, so can you. They're not luckier than you. They don't have more time than you. 82% of our members have a full-time job. They use the mobile app that we have that's free for Android, iPhone. When you guys join, you get real-time push notifications when our moderators enter and exit their positions. So even though you're not in front of your computer, you can easily follow along with everything that we are doing during the day. If they can do this, then so can you. True Trading Group literally exists to help retail traders learn faster, trade smarter, and profit sooner. We have completely and fully integrated AI technology into our platform to make your life easier. True Trading Group received the Benzinga FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool last year. And we have since made drastic upgrades and changes to that tool now. It is there to be your trading assistant and to be your trading co-pilot. It is there to help you do things that normally would have taken you 1 to 2 hours. You can do it now in 1 to 2 minutes. It is there to give you probability of outcome on what it is that you're looking for. It is there to identify for you the highest probability of setups in the market, so you always make sure you are focusing on very high probable win areas in the market, so that you're never finding yourself in a completely terrible trade that was doomed from the start. You give yourself a chance on every single decision that you make. I can't guarantee that you're going to be profitable just because you join True Trading Group and you use our award-winning AI program, Mari. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. I can't guarantee you're going to be successful, but I can guarantee that you're going to have the very best damn chance you have ever had in your entire life. I don't care if you've been doing this for 2 months or 20 years. This will give you the very best chance of becoming successful. That I can guarantee you. And I can guarantee you that when you join True Trading Group, you are not just going to have myself and 8 other professional traders by your side. You're going to have over 10,000 members that genuinely give a damn whether or not you succeed or fail. We are in this together. The members of True Trading Group, when you join TTG, we say welcome to the family. We don't bite. Friendships are born here. Friendships are created. Members have been here for 4, 5, 6 years. We know each other. We know our families. We succeed together. We accomplish our goals together. We go through the good times and the bad times together. There's ups and there's downs when it comes to trading. It's important to have a support staff there to help you. And here's the last thing that I will guarantee you as a member of True Trading Group. If you can't make your membership fee back at least one time, I'm going to give you back double what you paid to join. That's what I can guarantee you. How many people are on this live stream right now that are not members of TTG? Quick show of hands, type the letters TTG. Type the letters TTG if you're not a member. If you're not a member, just type the letters TTG. So let me see who's on here that's not part of the community. Obviously, we've got a ton of members that are with us. We've got 2,500 people watching now. Obviously, we're all here to cover the earnings. We covered earnings, Meta, Microsoft, Robinhood, just huge beats across the board. So again, just go ahead and type the letters TTG if you guys are not members. We got Sri, Smoking Hot, JV. Beautiful. All right, so we had a couple of people here that are not members of True Trading Group. Here's what I'll do. Those of you that are not members, okay, go to ttgoffer.com. Very simple, ttgoffer.com, okay? And I'm going to give you guys that are not members, like I just said, I guarantee you a double your money back guarantee. Go to ttgoffer.com. Everything that you see on that page is going to be included in your annual membership. The annual membership, I'm going to give you guys right now for just $599. That's it for the whole year. You're going to get all of our courses. You're going to get the Mari, the AI Trading Co-Pilot's core tier. You're going to get Benzinga Pro's newsfeed. You're going to get Trading Views premium charts, the Trade Idea Scanner, unusual options activity, options flow, dark pool data, congressional trading data, short data, 1,000 hours inside of our video library of all these different recordings from different workshops we've hosted. All of this stuff is included, right? You don't have to pay extra for any of those things, okay? Now, we do have premium versions of our AI that have like unlimited prompt sessions and have different capabilities and everything else that are an additional cost if you guys wanted to pay for them. But you will get the core level, the core tier level of our AI Trading Co-Pilot included with that $599 for the entire year. Okay, and again, this is an award-winning AI platform, guys. We received the 2024 Benzinga FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool. Come see what it's all about. Everything on that page included for $599. And if you cannot make back that $599 at least one time during your membership, okay, if you join, you go through the courses, you use the AI, if you can't make $599, that's a cost to join. You can't make that back at least once. I'll give you back $1,198. The W money back guarantee is right there on the checkout page. It's on the website. Go read it. Go check it out. Take a screenshot. You have this live stream. You can show your credit card company if I turn out to be fugazi, which I am not. Ask anyone that's been a member of True Trading Group. We're not a fly-by-night company. We've been around since 2017. We're 4.5 stars on Trustpilot with nearly 3,000 reviews. We have over 10,000 members in 114 different countries. We have a data partnership agreement with the NASDAQ. Go see what it's all about. $5.99 for the entire year. Everything you see on that page is included. You can't make $5.99 back? No problem. $1,198 coming back your way. Our refund rate at True Trading Group is less than 2.5%. Our retention rate is around 74%. That's why I can offer you the W money back, because I'm very confident in what our members have been able to accomplish here at TTG. And I'm confident you're going to be able to as well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Send us a text message, 1-888-621-2127. Again, that's 1-888-621-2127. The phone number will be right at the bottom of the screen in just a moment. 1-888-621-2127. Okay. No, MG Fantasy trial members do not have full access to Mari. Okay. Trial members do not have full access to Mari. Okay. Honestly, this isn't the time for the trial, because I'm offering the W money back guarantee. I mean, so honestly, what do you have to lose? You're either going to spend $599. It's going to be the best damn money you've ever spent in your life. And True Trading Group's platform and our AI Mari is going to help you become profitable. Or you're going to spend $599. You're not going to make it back at all. It'll be the biggest waste that you've ever done, but you're going to get back $1,198. Again, if you can't make the $599 back at least once during your membership. That's the deal that I'm going to offer anyone that wants to join True Trading Group right here, right now. Just go to ttgoffer.com. Everything you need is right there on that page. You have any questions, just send a text message. We're fully transparent. We are an open book. Anything you guys want to know, just text us. 1-888-621-2127. Wow. Yeah, Dawn. Dawn goes, I have multiple degrees, but none of them are in trading. TTG made it possible for me to become a full-time trader. It was much cheaper than those degrees and has much higher profitability. Amen to that. Ely Party DJ Michael says, my earnings from TTG is paying for my wedding in September. Michael, congratulations on the success, and an even bigger congratulations on the wedding, brother. It's been a little while since you and I had our one-on-one. We also do one-on-one mentoring and one-on-one coaching at True Trading Group. Michael is someone that I've done one-on-one coaching with. It's been a little while, so congrats on the good news, man. Congrats. MG Fantasy, how much is it to get the annual Mari membership with AI Plus? So MG, you've got to sign up for the annual membership. You'll have the core Mari with that annual membership. And once you join MG, it sounds like you're not a member yet. Okay. When you do join, okay, Avatar Adventures, if you're good, go ahead. Good luck. You're good, then good luck. The True Trading Group's not for you. Listen, True Trading Group's not for everybody. True Trading Group's not for everybody. People that think that they have all the answers, or people that have a bad stigma. They don't want to be part of a community. They don't want to work with, professional traders. They don't want to work with a company that received the Benzinga FinTech Award. They don't want to work with a company that has a partnership agreement directly with the NASDAQ, that has an agreement and a partnership with Unusual Whales, that works closely and directly with OpenAI to build out all of their AI products and tools, that has a partnership with Data Bento, that has a partnership with TradingView. If you don't want to work with a company like that, like I said, True Trading Group is not for everybody. There's plenty of people that want to go and hang out in Discords. They want to pump penny stocks. They want to chase 50-cent stocks and try to catch a Mullen short squeeze for the 900th time, even though they change their ticker symbol. Some people want to do that, and I wish those people the best of luck. TTG is not for everybody. But for the people that want to take this serious, for the people that want to make money, for the people that want to take advantage of the craziest and greatest market environment I've ever seen in my entire career. And they want access to an award-winning tool and an award-winning AI platform that can help make their trading easier and more profitable. Then yeah, TTG is the place for you. And if you're unsure and you have doubts, that $5.99 is backed up with a double your money back guarantee. I'll give you back $11.98. That's the deal. Go to ttgoffer.com now. Send a text if you have any questions. 1-888-621-2127. Simple as that. All right. So there we have it. Let's get on over to the charts. Let's talk about maybe some trade ideas for tomorrow on the back of these earnings. You know, honestly, I mean, obviously the big earnings to talk about are Meta and Microsoft. I don't know if I'm going to be taking longs on these things, man. I really don't. I'm up $181,000 in the last 5 years, all thanks to TTG. If you are not in this community, you are missing out. Avatar Adventures is good, though. They don't want to be a part of that. Elite Party DJ, congratulations, man. You're up $181,000 thanks to TTG. Well done. That is going to be one hell of a wedding. I look forward to the invite. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. He actually would probably send an invite too. Don't. I'm only kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right. So congrats, man. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look here back on over at Meta. We are gapping above, okay, that all-time high. Just watch out for the earnings call. You know, sometimes these earnings conference calls, the CEO could say something that gets investors a little spooked. So just be careful with the earnings call. Sometimes you see huge moves during the conference call, but as long as Meta opens up above the 740s, as long as we open up 750s, 760s, that's a clean gap up above the all-time high. You would look for that 740 to be support. And I got to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if you pulled back in tomorrow to test those 740s and then try to bounce from there. These stocks are I think overheated. And what I really think, I think the markets are tired. I think the markets had a tough time really moving higher with some pretty good news releases the last couple of days, or the European Union trade deal. You had the gap up to all-time highs, we then sold off and actually went red. You had the GDP numbers this morning and the ADP number, which I don't really put too much credence on the ADP number, but nonetheless, it was stronger than expected. And I think that we had a tough time also really moving higher today. So those are two days in a row where you had positive news and the markets really struggled to move higher. So to me, the markets feel tired, even with Microsoft and Meta having these blow-off moves to new all-time highs. We're still not at all-time highs on the S&P. You're at all-time highs on the NASDAQ. But, I do think that, you could see a little bit of a pullback and a little bit of a consolidation there from Microsoft. These are huge moves. So I wouldn't be surprised to get a little pullback and a little consolidation and maybe some profit taking on the back of that. Would I add to CFLT? No. I own a very, very little bit of CFLT from the 20s. I'm not adding to CFLT. CFLT is a flyer. So you guys have to understand, when it comes to the long-term portfolio, you have like your core positions that are your forever holds that you're never going to sell and that are going to be your largest positions. Then you have your mid-tier plays, which are companies that you really like and are companies that you think have a really bright future. But they're not quite as mature and as established as your forever holds. And then you have your speculative plays. Your speculative plays are companies that are still very young, or they have not yet proven out a business model, or they haven't yet had the success that the company is trying to get to. And those are extremely speculative plays. Those are going to be plays that, yeah, if it works, the stock goes up 1,000%. If it doesn't work, the stock goes down 80%, right? You don't have to worry about Microsoft or NVIDIA going down to 85%. You need to worry about a stock like Rivian, Lucid, RGTI, QS, ticker symbol AI. Like those type of companies are what are called speculative plays. if you're going to enter a speculative play, I have very, very, very few speculative plays in my long-term portfolio. My long-term portfolio is really built around my core positions and the companies that I really, really love. If you're going to buy something that is a speculative play, you always, for me, I mean, you do whatever you want, it's your money. But for me, it will always be with a very small amount of money. And then as that company develops and as that company becomes more mature, then you add to it on the way up. You don't ever add to a speculative play on the way down. You add to your core holdings and your forever holds. You can add to those on the way down. Those stocks go down, you buy more, right? NVIDIA, Palantir, Microsoft, Meta, like those are some of my forever holds. Those stocks go down, Broadcom, those stocks, CrowdStrike, those stocks go down, I buy more. If you're going to buy a speculative play and that stock goes down, you don't touch it. It's a speculative play for a reason. You have a very small position for a reason. So I would never add to a speculative play on the way down, ever. So that's how I do it. And you guys do as you please. So I have shares of Confluent. It was one of my speculative software plays. I have shares, I think at like 27, maybe. I want to maybe say, don't quote me on that. I'm not quite sure my exact price, but it's a small speculative play. It's not something that I'm trying to add to. Like if I looked at my long-term portfolio right now, whatever's happening on my CFLT position is completely irrelevant. You won't even notice it. It's a speculative small position, and I'm certainly not adding to it. The only way I would add to Confluent would be if Confluent got above probably $45 and they had like 3 quarters in a row of really great earnings, and they really started to develop into the company that they have potential to become. That's the only time you'll see me add to that position. But that's when the company takes its next step in maturity. If that doesn't happen, I'm not adding to it. It doesn't deserve more of your money. Keep that in mind. A lot of people load their long-term portfolio with garbage. You don't want to load your long-term portfolio with all these speculative plays. Like if your largest position in your long-term portfolio was like RGTI and Rivian, you have a problem. You have a problem if you do not have a well-positioned portfolio. If those are the largest positions that you have, those should be small speculative plays. So, I mean, that's something we can talk about. I don't want to get too much into that. I mean, there's a lot of different like long-term investing strategies and like rule sets that you guys should implement in your long-term portfolio. And we go over that stuff inside TGG, but I don't want to take up too much time with that right now on the live. I do want to welcome, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. I hope I am. Subaraj, everybody welcome Subaraj. Just joined the TTG family. Everybody welcome Subaraj. Just joined TTG. Welcome to the TTG fam. Everybody welcome Subaraj. Again, guys, you can go to ttgoffer.com. Everything you see on that page is included for $5.99, including the core tier of the AI. And then you guys could, use it, see what it's all about, see why we received the Benzinga FinTech Award for best AI analysis tool. See what TTD is all about. And then you guys can decide if you want to become a lifetime member, if you want to upgrade your AI tier. There's so many other things that you guys can do once you decide that TTD is the place for you. All right. If you guys have any questions, do not hesitate. Send us a text message to 1-888-621-2127. All right. So I'm definitely not trading Microsoft tomorrow. Microsoft is just gapped up into no man's land. I don't plan on day trading or swing trading that stock tomorrow. Maybe I trade Meta. Maybe I try Meta for a quick bounce off the 740s, but I think that maybe this will be on my list for tomorrow. All right, maybe this will be on my list for tomorrow. We'll have to see. Okay. But I don't envision myself trading Meta tomorrow. I actually think you have a risk of a double top on Robinhood. So I'm interested to see if we get little pullbacks. On some of the gap ups. and then what the market does, because this is kind of a push-pull in the market right now, because Jerome Powell, didn't have the markets feeling all that great this afternoon when he made it seem like they're not ready to cut rates even in September. And you saw the probability of rate cuts at the September meeting drop below 50%. And that's part of the reason why the markets really sold off there in the afternoon. And then we eventually were able to turn things around going into the close, a little bit of a bounce bang. And then boom, the earnings came out on Meta and Microsoft, and things just flew, right? The markets just ripped back to the upside. But tomorrow morning, if you start to see Meta and Microsoft start to fade those gap ups, I don't think there's much that holds this market up. The market's up right now on the back of Meta and Microsoft. So pay attention to the earnings conference calls, which are going to take place between now and the next 30 minutes. And if you see fade outs, if Microsoft fades out, if Meta fades out, I would absolutely expect the SPY to fade back out. I would expect the SPY to trade back down in the low 630s tomorrow. So I'm really more interested to see, if Meta and Microsoft hold their gains after the conference call. And then I'll really start to build out my watch list for tomorrow. We'll use Mari. I'll use the AI to build out the watch list. We'll go have Mari analyze the news and the earnings and the sentiment and the press conference from Jerome Powell and everything else to help us build out some really great trade ideas and some really great trading plans for tomorrow. Okay? So Subaraj, welcome to the family. Anybody else that's not part of the team, go to ttgoffer.com and you guys can join now for $5.99 for the whole year. If you cannot make that $5.99 back at least once, I'm giving you back $1,189. All I ask, actually go through the courses, pass the quizzes, use the AI, and if you can't make $5.99 at least once with all that, we'll give you back $1,198. Or I'll give you a whole second year for free. If that's what you want, we can do that. I can give you a whole, if you tell me after 1 year with True Trading Group, you tell me you were not able to make any money, you couldn't make back the $5.99, but you're like, I still want to give this a shot, I'll give you a whole year for free. I don't care. Or you want the $11.98. Choice is yours. We got another Amanj. Amanj, welcome to TTG. Everybody welcome Amanj. Just joined. Everybody welcome Amanj, newest member to the group. Guys, again, ttgoffer.com. The opportunity is there, $5.99 for the year. Everything on ttgoffer.com, it's all included. You get all of that. No upsell for those items. Like I said, we do have higher tiers of AI with different capabilities and different unlimited prompts and everything else. That stuff does cost more money if you do want it, but you can join now for the year, the annual membership, get the core tier of the AI, use it, and then decide it, if you guys want to then upgrade those levels, you certainly can, but everything that you need, it's included with your annual membership. It's just a matter if you want some extra stuff. We do have some extra stuff if you guys want it, but $5.99 for the year. Any questions, text us 1-888-621-2127. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I hope you guys, really enjoyed the live. Enjoy the analysis, the commentaries. We covered those earnings here live. It's a hell of an earnings day for these stocks. Let's see if they can hold those gains during the conference call, and then we'll build out the watch list for tomorrow. If you're not a member, you got to become a member, get your butts in chat. You'll get the watch list, obviously, and all the trade alerts and everything, and you get to use the AI and everything there once you guys become members. If not, you're not a member, at least smash that like button and show some love. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. I'll be live again right back here tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m., as we're going to cover Amazon and Apple earnings tomorrow after the bell. Let's hope they're just as good as Meta and Microsoft. Have a wonderful rest of your night, folks. I'm going to take my daughter out to dinner. It's her first birthday. We are excited. I love her. I've just stared at pictures of her all day long. And we're going to go do that. I will see you guys all later. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Smash that like button and show some love. I will see you all tomorrow.